Alright, today I wanted to talk about a deal that is on Humble Bundle. This is a big deal, probably the best CRPG deal that I've ever seen on any of these bundles or in any sort of Steam sale or anything like that. And it's something that I think needs to be talked about. It's a really cool deal. No, I'm not like sponsored or anything. I'm not big enough for that. Okay, so yeah, this deal is pretty crazy. It's $35 for 12 different things. So let's start from the bottom. We got IceWindale. IceWindale is a really cool CRPG from back in the days, and it's like 1990 something. Great RPG. So if you're into any of the older games, like some of the ones that are on here, to be honest, that have, the real time with pause sort of combat, this will be definitely straight up your alley. IceWindale is a bit more of like a combat focused version of that. So, your Boulders Gates, your Planescapes are a bit more leaning towards story. IceWindale leaning a bit more towards combat. But that doesn't mean it has a bad story. It's actually really fun to go through. So then we have Planescape Torment. This is a game that everyone knows about, I feel like, but if you don't know about it, it has been highly praised for its story for a long time. It's been praised as one of, if not the best stories in video games ever. So it's definitely worth taking a look at, and I would definitely recommend doing that. Maybe you could just buy it here for very cheap. And then there's obviously Baldur's Gate, the first game, Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 2 is definitely one of the best CRPGs ever. Baldur's Gate 1, great. A little bit dated at this point. It feels like going back into it. But there's an enhanced edition, and that is what you'll get here. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, definitely worth it. Then we have Pathfinder Kingmaker, the enhanced edition, enhanced plus, so that's going to have all of the different DLC and stuff like that in it. Pathfinder Kingmaker, probably top 5 for recent CRPGs for me. Owlcat has done a great job with Pathfinder. I don't know how they're pumping these games out, to be honest. They're absolutely massive. 100 hours plus, depending on how you play it, whether you want to go through every single thing, right? Pathfinder is like the first step, I feel, for them. I think it might have been the first... Kingmaker might have been the first game that they did like this. Not really sure on that. I should probably check, but it was great. It's really, really fantastic. It has a really interesting way of travel where you're unlocking the map through these nodes as you're going through, discovering things, getting into random encounters, everything you'd love in CRPGs. Neverwinter Knights, again, one of those great classic CRPGs from the team at BioWare. I think it's a bit more like towards combat than Neverwinter Nights 2, but it still like has a very interesting story. But the great thing about Neverwinter Nights, the first one, is that it has an insane amount of modules. It has some modules to it that that the devs on the game themselves did that are really highly rated. So it unlocks potentially hundreds of hours of playtime, depending on what you want to do. Then we have Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is the second game after Pathfinder Kingmaker. They're not, directly related or anything like that, but Wrath of the Righteous takes things up another step. And considering that the massive RPG that Kingmaker was, taking that up a step is kind of crazy. But they did it. They did it within a relatively short period of time. The story is really interesting. It allows you to go through these different things. I think they're called mythics, where you choose a mythic as you're going through the story. They'll come up at various points, and you kind of decide on what you're doing, where you'll advance trying to say this without spoiling anything because it's such a cool mechanic. It's part gameplay mechanic, part story mechanic, the way that you choose these. It definitely directly affects your gameplay, but it also directly affects the story. You can do crazy things like become this evil undead thing that eats everything in its path, or you can become this massive legendary mythic creature. Yeah, there's just so many different things you can do it that are really cool. It's definitely worth a playthrough in my opinion. And then we have Rogue Trader, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which is, in my opinion, probably the best 40k game that I can think of. I mean, there have been so many different Warhammer 40k games, especially recently, because they've opened up the license. But this game is, for CRPG fans, exactly what you would want. It showcases all of Warhammer 40k, takes you to a bunch of different locations, puts you in the role of a rogue trader, which is this position of massive power where you can do things like blow up a planet if you feel like it. If you're just having an off day and you want to get rid of a planet. Or you can, you know, bring prosperity to different planets. You want to do that, I guess. Personally, I'd go with the blowing up planet thing, but, you know, you do you. So yeah, it's a great game. It has really cool characters that are in it. It's kind of what you could expect from Rogue Trader is it's almost like a heavier version of what you got in Boulders Gate 3. It goes deeper into like lore stuff and like I think more hardcore CRPG fans will be more of a fan of this game. Depending on who you are, you might even like it more than Boulders Gate 3 or any of the Boulders Gates, but Boulders Gate 1 and 2 are here for you to check out, so you can try all of them. And that's the great thing about this bundle. It's such a big bundle. It's $35, which, you know, if you do the math, that's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games for $35. Very cheap in terms of what you're getting. You're getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of RPG here. This is the best deal that I've seen in any of these bundles for a really long time, maybe ever. So, highly recommend for anyone, if you don't have all of these games already, pick this up. This is great. It's a great deal. Me personally, I already have all these games, so it doesn't do much for me, but hopefully some of you out here see this and you're like, actually, I wanted to try these games out for a long time. Go for it. All right, that's it for me. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.